Mohammed Ali Shikhi held the post of the Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of Tunisia to Russia from February 2017 to August 2019. Earlier, he was the Ambassador of Tunisia to France, General Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Tunisia. He has a diploma of Tunisian State University in Law, Economics and Political Sciences. He was born in Tunisia on August 2, 1961.
Recently, there was 60th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between Russia and Tunisia. What is the current level of cooperation between our countries? What do you think?
Russian-Tunisian relations have deep historical roots. Diplomatic relations between the USSR and Tunisia were established in 1956. Tunisia-USSR Friendship Association was founded the same year. A bit later, we exchanged diplomatic missions. Two countries propelled their relations in the second half of the 1960s. At that time, a number of Soviet-Tunisian agreements on development of cooperation in economy, trade, equipment, culture, and science were signed. The joint agreement on cultural and scientific cooperation was concluded. The National and Technical Institute was constructed with the assistance of the USSR. During the Soviet period, a lot of our young people obtained professions in engineering in your country. The Soviet Union supplied machines, industrial equipment, and timber to Tunisia, assisted in creating a planned structure in bridge and road construction. Tunisia, in turn, began to import olive oil, wool, rawhide, and almonds to the USSR. Of course, it's all history now. Today, after the Arab Spring, our relations have certainly changed, but still have the same positive character. We seek to strengthen and expand them. We consider the spheres of economy and industry as the most important ones.
So how do you appreciate the current relations between our countries at both economic and political levels? What are the issues between our countries left still open?
The political relations between our countries can be characterized as exclusively positive. The desire of Moscow and Tunisia to maintain active political dialogue and build the mutually beneficial cooperation in trade and economic, cultural and humanitarian and other areas is confirmed. We aspire to develop economic relations, the basis for good political connections. It should be noted that over the last 2 years, we've opened the horizons for Russian investment and investors. Commodity turnover has increased by 60%. We have published presentations for Russian investors, developed joint training programs. In the space sphere, the agreement on the launch of the Tunisian satellite from Russia has been signed. As for education, as you know, the number of students from Tunisia studying in Russia has reached 4,000. The majority of them study in medical schools. All these facts strengthen our relations and bring them to a new level.
Do Russian businessmen invest in the industry of Tunisia?
We try to expand and deepen the areas of interaction between our countries. Our country is open for Russian investors. For the last 2 years, we have promoted the release of advertisement for Russian businessmen by our embassy. And today, KAMAZ is going to open an assembly plant in Tunisia, and we seek to develop the joint sector in the sphere of infrastructure and transport.
The Arab Spring won in Tunisia in 2011. This revolution rolled after that through the countries of Northern Africa and the Middle East. Revolution had some main objectives: social justice, economic growth, and political pluralism and democracy. So what has changed in your country for this time?
Tunisia is the country in which civil unrest led to change of power within the country and to the Arab Spring in the whole region. As our late president said about the Arab Spring, Tunisia is the only country which managed to pass this test successfully, having kept freedom and democracy. At the same time, the power changed actually peacefully, with preservation of political stability. Naturally, today, the economy of Tunisia is struggling, but the country persevered, relying on principles of liberty and democracy. It was demonstrated by recent elections, characterized by complete transparency. And now we're looking for ways to escape from our problems. The main thing for us is to make way for the youth, give them the chance to build modern Tunisia for a peaceful and happy life.
Tunisia is a very popular destination among Russian tourists. So how many people from Russia do come to Tunisia every year, and what is worth seeing in Tunisia for the tourists?
At the moment, about 600,000 tourists from Russia visit our country annually. And we continue to work on development of tourism. We elaborate new itineraries. We create more attractive booklets, acquainting tourists with the culture of Tunisia, its traditions and customs. Our recent innovation is excursions to the olive processing and winemaking plants. And since recently, we've been developing health tourism. Therefore, as I've already said, we continue to work on providing Russian tourists with important information on tourist objects which will interest them. And now we can open for Russian tourists exotic places, inaccessible to other countries. It also concerns various cultural places and festivals. I mean, Tunisia is becoming not only a tourist, but also a cultural highlight for foreigners.
So there is Russia and there is Tunisia. What goals are we trying to achieve together? What are we looking forward together, our countries?
First of all, within the cooperation of the two countries, we will work on the question of fighting against the international terror. In the UN, we also hope to pay considerable attention to the issues of strengthening our activity in joint committees on development and strengthening of political and economic relations. These are the main things I pay attention to, both in the Republic of Tunisia and in Russia. And I think, together, our countries will reach consensus.